Hey, what's up, everybody? So, I'm gonna be doing a bunch of videos because I am so sick and tired of the way the world's going. I'm uh, just done. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jay. I'm a trucker. I live in Hawaii. And before people start saying, oh, you're so blessed to live in Hawaii, fortunately, everything's expensive here. If I was back in the States, I'd be living comfortably right now with money I make, but instead I live in a one-bedroom apartment which I can barely afford with my fiance, her daughter, and our daughter Lily. So, things I'm going to be talking about are basically things that need to change, you know, and consider these self-help videos advice, because these are going to be the things I see wrong with the world, and they need to be addressed. People need to stop ignoring them. And people are going to tell me, hey, who the fuck are you to tell me how to live my life? I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, no. I'm just trying to present an option, a better way, because of my experience. So, let's begin. I'm going to start with one of the most important topics, parenting. Why is parenting important? Well, kiddies, if you think about it, our children, and this is so fucking cliche, our children are our future, correct? If our children are our future, we are handing them the keys to the world when we expire. Do you want your kids to grow up incapable of taking care of themselves, or do you want them to be sufficient? Me as a parent, I want my kids to be able to survive, no matter what life throws at them. I don't want my kids to grow up not knowing how to hunt, fish, provide for themselves, cook, clean, take care of themselves. So, one thing I know needs to change. We need to stop handing out participation awards to kids. Why? Because it teaches them not to be an individual. In the military, yeah, individuality is a bad thing because it's part of a team. In essence, we are all part of a team, but there's a reason individuality is important in the real world. Individuality is important because everybody plays a part. We're all part of a huge team. And if we don't specialize our talents, we don't develop our talents, we just become a race of useless, mindless fucks. And what do I mean? People like me, when we grew up, you had to watch other people get awards for being good at sports, for being good at academics, being good at whatever. It made you do one of two things: focus on what you were good at, develop it, or get better at what you weren't. Both are a win. Why? Well, if you think about it, you focus on your talent, you develop your talent. Like me, I like to draw. I became good enough where people used to pay me to draw, design their tattoos. Granted, I wish I could tattoo myself, and I can tattoo. I was licensed for a bit. I didn't keep that license because, one, it's expensive. Two, you don't make much money, especially in Hawaii. Rent here is fucking ridiculous, and rent for a seat in a tattoo parlor is even more ridiculous. And three, people are out to fuck you. So unless you own your own tattoo parlor, chances are you're getting fucked with, seat rent, so on and so forth. But that's besides the point. So have your kids develop. Take the time, spend time with your kids. Don't let them grow up being babysat by the phone. There's a reason why. There's a lot of information out here on the World Wide Web that's bad for kids because kids are impressionable. Why we have cyber crimes division, because people like to entice kids. It's easy for somebody to tell a kid, hey, why don't you come play with me? Yeah, we can do some sexual shit. Why? Because kids will think, oh, okay, you know? Old expression, stove is hot. A lot of kids don't know when the stove is hot with certain subjects. Why? Because they were never taught. That's why I'm telling you, it's important to spend time with your kids, develop your kids. Because in the end, you know, either they're not going to be able to survive, and less importantly, they're going to be the ones taking care of you. They really are. Your kids are your legacy. So stop teaching them that it's okay to be mediocre. It's okay not to be good at something at the same time. Develop their talents. Celebrate their talents. But don't teach them it's okay to be mediocre, because they're going to apply that in every aspect of their life, including what they're good at. They're not going to develop it. They're going to think, it's okay if I, don't do this. Spend time with them. Don't let the phone raise your kids. Don't do that, because they're going to become dependent. It's like a drug for kids. Nowadays, you take away a kid's phone, that's like taking away a freaking lollipop from a toddler. Now, a more controversial subject, spanking. Granted, some people take this shit too far, and that's why we have laws. And I'm not advocating beating your kids, no. When you spank with the intent to hurt, not to teach, there's a difference. You are abusing your child. If you are correcting an action because what they did was morally or ethically wrong, and you do it with the minimum amount of force, and you only do it when it's necessary, I believe it's perfectly fine. And I got spanked as a kid. You don't see me fucking throwing temper tantrums because Hillary Clinton lost the election. You don't see me fucking burning other people's shit. You don't see me fucking mass shooting. You definitely don't see me trying to fuck other people over. Why? Because I was taught to respect everybody. And when I disrespected somebody, I got a whooping. And now it becomes like muscle memory. I give people the benefit of the doubt. When people fuck me over, well, fuck them. I don't fuck with them no more. I just leave them alone. So, as a parent, it's your job to decide what your kids need. To invest time in your kids. So, you are ultimately responsible for the fate of the world. And I mean this in a literal sense, because our kids will be handed the keys to the world soon. And the fate of the world depends on your actions as a parent. So please take this to heart and understand that you can't just ignore your kid and expect the best. It doesn't work that way. Your child is your creation. And when they fail, you can't blame the teacher. You can't blame society. You can't blame video games. You can't blame media. No, because ultimately you are responsible for everything your child intakes. You are ultimately responsible for everything your child does, says, and intakes. It is your job to make sure that they understand what they're intaking, to understand their actions, why it's right, why it's wrong, why it's morally questionable. It is your job to help your children understand the way the world works and how to navigate it as a parent. It is your job to prepare them for the future. So please take this to heart. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'm more than happy to address them, because it's such a huge topic, and I'm not an expert, but that's what I see is wrong in the world. People are neglecting their kids and leaving them to their own devices, and it's wrong. people are not taking responsibility for their children's actions. So stay blessed, have a nice life, and hopefully this affects your life in a positive way. Bye.